meatballs and a wild mushroom gravy. I love this dish because it's a multi-purpose type of thing. We can do small meatballs for an hors d'oeuvre or an appetizer. We can make them a little bit larger, serve it over egg noodles, and have a dish. The whole wheat ones, of course.
Whole wheat. Okay,
whole wheat.
Very good.
We're not gonna do that today. We're gonna make appetizer ones.
Okay.
Because I like the whole Swedish meatball thing. You know, with the sour cream and the heavy gravy with the roux and everything. This recipe, we're keeping it healthy.
And you know that I like the ground turkey because it's leaner than ground beef.
Yeah.
In fact, I think that's 95% lean ground
95%,
turkey,
yep.
which is awesome. So it's a little bit cleaner in taste, and that's okay with you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's absolutely fine.
Because health-wise, it's perfect for me.
And I've got a couple other little tricks that we're going to incorporate in as we get going. The very first thing we're going to do is make the meatballs themselves. We're going to brown them off traditionally, just like we would do a normal beef or veal meatball pork type of combination thing. So we're going to start off the same way. We're going to make the meatballs. Put our turkey in there. Just a little bit of light seasoning in here. I've got a little bit of poultry seasoning. Yes, there is some salt in here. Not a lot. Not a lot.
It's
not a lot.
salt.
I checked. It is low salt. It is low salt. We're just going to put a little bit of flavor in there. We're not adding breadcrumbs, but if we were whole wheat, right?
It'd be whole wheat.
Yeah,
if we were.
Absolutely
yes.
be whole wheat.
But we're not.
But we're not. No, we're not. Because we don't need to. The gravy is going to make this dish. I like gloves for this type of job. We could use a spoon to mix this up, but these gloves come in so handy when mixing up things like this. And keeps your hands nice and clean, keeps it out of your fingernails. So we're just going to mix this up. A little bit of light seasoning in here. We're really going to bank on the flavor coming out of the gravy, which you're going to love some of the little things that I've got going on here.
And you do have strong fingers.
Yes, I do. Well, it's from doing the food stuff. Now, if I had to use these fingers to say balance my body weight down while doing a push-up, it wouldn't go so well.
You wouldn't be able to do.
Yeah. No, it wouldn't go so well. So we've kept nice and clean here. We're going to scoop out some meatballs. We're going to start heating up the pan. Get that warmed up. We don't want to rip this. We're going to brown these off a little bit of olive oil in the pan if you don't mind, Doctor. For making meatballs, I love to use a scoop. If for nothing else, it creates a nice portion. You know, you don't have to worry about, is it too big, too small? They're all going to cook evenly, and they're all going to look really nice. We also have a little bit of water here, so when we do finally decide to roll the meatballs, we're going to be able to use the water to keep our hands nice and clean as we do that.
Now, you didn't steal that from your ice cream.
No, I didn't. Okay. No, I swear. No, the ice cream I eat right out of the container. Why would I? Okay. I don't need a scoop for that. I just need a very large, very strong spoon. Okay, so we're good there. We've got them all portioned out. Nice little trick. Wetting the hands before you're doing this is a really, really nice way to keep everything nice. My hands are clean. We've got a nice uniform shape, a little bit of water on the hands. We're going to be able to roll these out nice and smooth. So we've got them all the same size, portioned up really nice, and our hands are staying clean. If I wasn't doing this, your hands get sticky, the fat, which we don't have in here. We don't have.
It's very lean.
Yeah, it's very lean, so it's not going to stick as much as pork or veal or ground beef would. But this just makes it really nice and smooth on the outside.
You know, and we've talked about this before, but I'm such a fan of turkey just because it is such a lean protein source. And lean protein sources, of course, will help rebuild and repair your muscle tissue, which will improve your metabolism, especially if you're doing your strength training.
Okay, gotcha. Perfect. Okay, I think we're ready to go here. Yeah, we're going to lower that temperature down a little bit. What we want to do is brown these off on the outside. They're going to seal in the flavor. They're going to seal in the moisture. We don't have a lot of fat inside that turkey. It's very lean, so we want to keep the moisture on the inside.
So less fat in the turkey, less fat on the body.
Well, on some of our bodies.
Some of our bodies.
We're going to brown these off, sealing off the outside so that the inside stays as moist as possible, and then we can move on to the next step, which is going to be making the actual sauce for it. All right, as we're cooking off the meatballs on one side of the pan, we can get started with cooking the onions, the peppers, and the mushrooms in this dish over on the other side. Okay, we've got the meatballs browning on this side of the pan. We're starting to cook our mushrooms, peppers, onions over on this side of the pan. I've left out the porcini mushrooms. what I did is I added water to rehydrate them. They were dry mushrooms, so I added in some water to rehydrate them, a little bit of warm water. And what that does is it makes a nice mushroom broth, which is going to add a tremendous amount of flavor and absolutely no fat at all.
And no sugar.
No, nothing. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Because we do have to add a little bit of beef consomme or beef stock over here. So I thought, well, I can cut down on the amount of this if I add in this. And I know the doc's not going to criticize me too much.
No, not
at all.
Not about that.
Not about. There are so many other things.
There's a lot of other things.
Why talk about the mushrooms when there are so many other things?
Too many other things.
Yeah, these are browning up nice. Could you hold that handle for me, my friend? Perfect. Okay. So these are starting to brown up very nicely. They're going to hold their shape together. Now we're not cooking these all the way through. We're going to finish them off by steaming them with all the vegetables in here. Get all that goodness off the bottom. That's good stuff right there. Had a lot of flavor.
And we cooked in olive oil today.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yep. There we go. Look at that. The rest of these mushrooms in, a little bit of liquid into the pan. We're going to add it all in. That's going to add so much flavor. Ooh, love it. Garlic and everything.
Garlic, that's fine. It's a lot of taste and very few calories, so why not?
A little bit of thyme. This adds a very, very nice flavor. Now, the difference between this and a traditional Swedish meatball, there's no sour cream, there's no roux in the gravy or sauce that we're making, there's no butter in it to finish it. Swedish meatballs are one of my favorite dishes. They have a lot of flavor to them, but boy, are they just, oh, yeah, nothing good in there.
Well, that's why we modified this.
Yes, exactly.
We're getting a lot of the flavor without all the calories and the sugar and the fat and everything else. So I think we really hit a home run with this.
All right, good. Wonderful. It smells great, too. Okay, now we're going to mix all of this together in the pan. We're not even close to being done cooking yet, but we're going to sort of simmer this whole thing. A little bit of beef consomme here. Not a tremendous amount of fat. I skimmed all the fat off it before we started, but that's our basis for the gravy itself.
Sure. Starting to really look very good.
Oh yeah, it's going to be good stuff. Now this is going to take a minute. We're going to be going for about another 10 minutes in the pan like this, adjusting the heat as we go. We want it to cook vigorously and we want to get this covered. We're going to put a cover on this whole thing so that it steams everything, brings the flavors together. Then the very last ingredient we're going to add to thicken up this sauce is a little bit of arrowroot. We're going to talk about that when we get done getting all this together. Smells great. Everything's come together, everything's cooked. We're going to make our thickening agent now. What we want to use is a little bit of arrowroot instead of cornstarch on this one.
We talked about this at a time. We didn't want to use a cornstarch because it had a higher glycemic load. This has a much less glycemic load or blood sugar fluctuation when you consume it.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of arrowroot, and I suggest if you ever want to substitute cornstarch, I would use arrowroot.
Yeah, now arrowroot is more expensive. A lot more expensive to use as an ingredient, but it's much more potent. It's going to thicken this sauce with a lot less of it. Very, very popular around Passover in Jewish cooking because it has no wheat in it whatsoever. So we're in good shape here. We just want to mix this together. You could mix this with your hands as well. You want to get it very, very, very mixed up. This is called a slurry. You want it all mixed together very nice, and then right in. Now the difference between a roux and arrowroot is the fact that arrowroot, once it comes back to a boil, it is thickened as far as it's going to go. You're not going to get any thicker. With the roux, it continues to get thicker and thicker and thicker. With something like this, once it boils, it's as thick as it's going to get. So if you're not happy with the consistency, you've got to add more. Look how powerful that is.
Yeah.
It just brought it right together. Oh, just right together. And that's it. It's ready. That's what I was looking for. All right. Out of the frying pan, into the bowl, ready to go. Just that easy. Nice dish, appetizer, dinner.
Lean source of protein. We have our vegetable. It's good.
Yeah. Now this is, I made a little bit thicker so we can use as a as an appetizer type of thing. You could thin this down, make a little bit more sauce, go over top of some whole wheat egg noodles, and have dinner on the table just as quickly.
Perfect.
All right.